I think what's really cool about J.H. Batten on the design build role, and I'll highlight the design piece first. I like to take that all the way back to Exodus 35 and 36. There was a design build project going on back there, and it was called the tabernacle. And as you study that passage, you see that God motivated people who had skill sets to come in and accomplish the work. Everything from the design side of it to figuring out what it was going to look like, how the materials were going to be acquired, how the materials were all going to go together, because it was a major project that would honor the Lord. Their capability brought in a team that helped us to think through things even more, think it through deeper, a lot of what ifs, and just the vision component of that process is super helpful for us as a group of people who kind of have an idea of what we're sensing God is calling us to do, but to have the expertise join us in figuring out, okay, practically speaking, what does it really look like? And their experience just brought a big lift to the process for us.
Over the years, it's been an interesting experience to be involved in handling all of the problems that has come up with the building and the construction. We had to do it in phases. The economy tanked in 2008, and we were at that time ready to move ahead with educational facility and an auditorium. But with some of our funding that wasn't available after that stock market dive, we had to think of doing our construction in phases. And that's one of the things that really impressed me with Batten, that they were willing to step back and to take a fresh look at our situation. And so we developed what we have here today over a period actually from about 2008 until 2019, when we moved in the final phase of our constructions.
We began building. A funny story was in 2009 is when we broke ground with parking. We needed parking and things like that. And they came to us, J.H. Batten did, and said, steel is going up. Not maybe, it is going up at the end of 2009. And you have $700,000 worth of steel in your plans, so it's going to save you $70,000, 10%, if you'll let us put this up now. And we said, okay. And so we did. We erected the girders that were here for 3 years. And I'm sure people drove by our church going, what in the world is wrong with these people? But it ended up being a wise financial decision for us.
So we're trying to be very wise in how we invest those resources and accomplish the objective in a healthy way. But then you enter into the practical side of, okay, this has to be built, it involves materials, there's a lot of uncertainties in that, a lot of fluctuating prices that we don't know about, and so it becomes a dialogue. So what if we do it this way? What will that cost? And Batten has been very good at helping us explore, I wouldn't say cheaper ways of doing things, but ways that are, from a practical point of view, accomplish the ultimate objective without compromising any of the quality that we want to see for what we're doing. And so they're very good at helping us navigate the balance between coming in at or below what we have as an expectation, and it's a negotiation that's kind of got us on the same page in a sense. It's like they also own what they're doing here, and they understand the ministry that's going on in our context, which is crucial for us, and they're very good at helping us steward things to the maximum for what we're trying to get. So it's a process. And when we push back and say, okay, go back to the drawing board a little bit more and see if there's other ways it can be done, they're very willing to follow our direction in that regard and come back and say, we have found out we can do some things differently. We're rethinking it. And we enjoy a company that's willing to not just give us something, but to help us wrestle with how is it going to work and how can we do it better. And then when you run into the unexpected surprises, which we have on the current project, and it's kind of like you really don't know what you don't know until you start the demolition. And then you discover there's all kinds of things that we didn't know were underneath that we have to adjust. And that's a budget issue, of course. And we negotiate with them, okay, are we going to keep that in the current contract, or are we going to take that on separately?
I've said it to our elders, I've said it to our church leaders a million times, and it probably become a redundancy, but I can't imagine doing the job of being a pastor without having godly people to surround you and we lock arms together and do the ministry together. This is not my church. I'm not the CEO. I'm not the guy that is responsible for deciding what chairs we're going to have. I didn't know till they showed me, and what colors we were going to use. I have a group of very godly people who are faithful, who want to do things with good stewardship.
I like to say that J.H. Batten has a sensitive side to understanding. It's kind of like they get behind our eyes. They try to really understand what we're thinking, and oftentimes can add value to the process of what we're thinking. They can give us insights that they have from their experience, and not all projects have that kind of depth of expertise. And what I have personally found with J.H. Batten is the depth of expertise is one of the biggest assets to what they have to offer. So their willingness to be very diligent and their gifting in the whole process is just amazing.